Hi, this is Everett's Watercolors. Welcome to my studio. This is Simply Drawing with Everett with another drawing exercise. And today I'm going to draw railroad tracks. And I think they're interesting. Helpful to show you how perspective, also how to get dimension from up close and back far. So railroad tracks is just a good vehicle to draw and practice any kind of system like that. So to teach perspective and also to depth in a drawing. So let's go to my close-up camera and let me get started. Okay, there's the photograph for today. That's my design. That's my reference photograph. You can see the railroad tracks, and I got a little curve in there. I like that. And these poles here, electric poles and so forth. So they're not telephone poles, but they're communication poles for the train. Okay, so let me get started here. What I normally do is, this is a 2B pencil and just a regular sketch paper, 8.5 by 11 sketch pad. I usually start out with I draw a little outline here. I'm going to make maybe a 5 by 7 size. So I'll start out here with a diagram. Give me draw myself a little reference box here. That's kind of where that's the kind of size of my drawing I'm going to have. Okay, and then I'm going to locate the horizon. And the horizon line is going to be a little bit like 2/3 up, 1/3 from the bottom, 1/3 from the top. So that's the horizon line. That's way back there where the tracks start. That's where I want to start. Okay, now I'm going to start the tracks. Now I've got a little dimension here. This starts here. I'm starting right here on the drawing, and it comes down. It's got a little bit of angle this way. And it starts to curve, and it comes right on down to the bottom. I like that. Yeah. Okay. Okay. So that's the right side of the tracks. Now the other side of the tracks, I'm going to come across just a little bit wider, and there it's going to start spreading out a little bit. Here's where the dimension. Here's where the perspective comes in. As you get closer forward, things get a little bit larger, a little bit wider apart. And this is going to come down. Down to about right there, and then it's going to flare out. So we get wider at the bottom and narrow at the top. Okay, now I'll just kind of correct my decision here. I like that. And rather than just having straight lines, I wanted to have a little curve and give it more interest here. And up here at the top, I'm going to indicate the little tree line. There's a tree in here, it goes up here, up to the top, just kind of, and the side of the railroad track, there's a siding over here, so I'll go ahead and put that in. All right, now about just below half, about right here, there's a bridge crossing here, a little bridge. So I'm gonna go ahead and put that in. That's to make it a little different. So it'd be like a little bridge, like a solid section here. And then go all the way to the road, to the side of the road, or side of the bank here. And then on the side here, now we got a little railing. That's interesting. Good. So I can make that way I can adjust my side of my drawing a little bit anyway. And I'm going to put a couple railings in there just for. And then there's a little cross railing that way. Okay. And then this little bridgeway or whatever it is comes over this side, and on the left, and it's also going to have a little angle to it. And it's got a little railing. I'm going to put that on. And it's also got a little pole there. I'll put that on up. Okay. Okay. And we're going to put some cross there. Okay, so it gives you a little more just besides the railroad track. I've got something else going on here. A little bridge crossing. Little bridgeway. Might be water down here on the sides. We don't know. We can't tell. Okay, another thing now. I got some poles. This one over here. I'll get the large one. It's right next to this and pretty well goes all the way to the top of my drawing. That's about where I want to have it. Okay. I'm not going to draw all the details of this pole, but I am going to put in the horizontal shape. Goes across here, and it goes down about the middle of the tracks. That far. If I get the dimension on that, okay. Come down here right there, the little pole. Now the second pole is further back, and let's see. Let me get the side of the road here. There's on the side of the railroad track that goes on back. So this would be back about this far. The second pole, I'll get that one in. I get one more pole here, and it goes up about partial way. A little more than half of that one, and then it has a cross beam also. And this beam is just about the same, as far as the photograph is concerned. It's about the same dimension, same direction there. And let's see, I'm going to get one more in. I'm going to skip this one and go over here to the middle. I'm going to go this side here. 1, 2. Yeah. I'm going to eliminate that one here and just take this one over here. This one's a little bit shorter. It's further back. It goes behind the trees over there, okay? Okay. Because those are kind of elements that I want to capture, okay? Really, those right there. Now, back here is just trees. There's this tree line. And what I'm going to do is also, I want to add a little building over here. So I'm going to come over here. This little building, I'm going to move up. Here's the horizon line. So I'm going to go up here. I'm going to add a little structure here. And this is going to be, I'm going to put a porch on this. I'm going to add a porch. And there's the second floor or whatever. I'll come out a little bit more on my drawing now. And I'll put some windows in here. I'm going to put a window up here in the second floor, and put another window down here on the first floor. And I'll put a little porch, some porch posts down here. Okay, so a little more interest on that. Okay, all right. Now the next thing I'm going to do is, and I'm sketching it in now. I've got the railroad tracks, railroad rails down here. I got this little bridge across here with the little railings and so forth on both sides. I added a tree up here, and I got these posts, vertical posts here. Here, further back, gets smaller. And then smaller. That takes me back in the distance. Then add this little house up here. There's a horizon lines here, and I added a little house over here, a little building on this side over here. Okay, now what I'll do is I'm going to erase some of my marks here. Okay. All right. So let me clean this up now a little, and we're going to add a little more detail. But I'm going to add in this. This will take this on out the edge of the building, out to the edge of this railing over here. Get rid of this line. All right. So now I'm going to pick up a 6B lead now and get a little bit darker. So we're now. This is the tree I saw over here on the side. I'll go ahead and shade that in a little bit. That's going to be darker. So I can shade that in. There's a little tree line over here behind this railing over here, okay? And this railing comes down. Got a couple rails on it, and there's the horizontals. Okay. And I got this section is like a little thicker base. It's got a little thickness to it. Okay, Then I got this railing over here on the left side. Okay, then I'll darken these in a little bit. The posts, I got a pole over here. So instead of all the horizontal lines, I want to make sure I got some vertical lines. So a combination of vertical, horizontal, a little more contrast. And I eliminated some of the lines on that just to give me a little bit of, and I can put some wires going between these two connection. And here's a little house over here on the left side. A little porch on it. With some windows, rooftop. Clean this up a little bit. Okay, now last thing I want to do is add in some of the tracks. The rail itself is going to have a little dimension to it, so I can put in a little bit of thickness to that. The tracks is going to have a little bit of thickness to it, so add another little dimension to that. And come on down here and add this dimension to this. So show a little dimension on the railroad track itself. Not much detail, just an idea of what. Now across here, I'm going to have the crossboards in the track. So I'm going to go ahead. Now you start out here. You start out at a certain distance, and then as you go further back, they're going to get closer together. That's going to be part of the perspective. As things get a little bit smaller as we go back into the drawing. They start wider and they get a little bit narrower as we go back. Now this comes across here, and it'll continue on across the other side. But now as we go back, they're going to get fainter. We'll just see just a little hint, maybe a hint of the tracks way back there. Okay. Now I can put a little bit of just an indication of some grass over here on the side, just a little bit of texture over here on the side. Not much. A little bit of stones and so forth on this side, a little on this gravel, and so forth on this side. Okay, all right. Well, I think that's about finishes my demonstration of drawing a railroad tracks. But what I want to do is I wanted to show you number one, how to do them, just using the photograph. But I eliminated some of the details. I simplified the poles here a little bit. Didn't add all the details, but I got the main structure of the railroad tracks, and they start out here very narrow, and they come down. They get further and further as they get closer to us. They get further and further apart. Okay, and the cross track rails, as they go back, they get closer and closer together as we go back. That's a good example of perspective, not only in the size and dimension, but also in how you look at it. And even the poles are just in perspective. This pole here, this gets smaller as we go back into the drawing. This one's smaller than that, even though they're the same size, they're smaller. And this one over here is even smaller than this. Okay, so it gives you an idea of drawing dimension and getting a perspective in a drawing. Now this could be a street, it could be a downtown street with buildings on the side, or a railroad track with trees and poles on the side. It could be a road going down into the mountains where you got a roadway going into the mountains. Again, you start on the same idea of the perspective of that particular item. It could be a roadway, it could be a railroad tracks, it could be a street going down Middletown Broadway, whatever. But that's how you would draw perspective and in design in your drawings. Okay, well, that completes that today. So let me take you back to my main camera. Okay, I really enjoy doing it. I enjoy drawing railroad tracks. I've been out there painting railroad tracks, so it's a lot of fun, and it's good exercise to be able to draw dimension and get some perspective, but also to show depth in your drawing and how to show depth in your paintings. Then you can always add the value change. You can make lighter value in the back and darker as you come forward. That's the other, changing the values as you draw or as you paint, making it lighter in the back and coming forward you get darker. Okay, so that's another way. If I was going to color it in or draw it in more detail, I would have added more value changes and so forth. But I want to show the dimension and the perspective of sizes as we go back into the drawing. And if you did a drawing of your living room, you're going to show perspective where the furniture is laid out. It's going to look longer. It's going to look smaller on the other side of the room than it does in front of you. So it's a good exercise, and I hope you will try that out. So subscribe to my channel. Give me a like and a thumbs up. I appreciate that. It helps in my rating. And subscribe to my channel. I have over 1,000 videos, watercolor and drawing and other things. I think you'd really enjoy seeing some of those. So you can subscribe and be notified of my next video. So I'll be back again next week with another exercise in drawing. Until then, you all stay safe and stay cool. So I'll see you on the next video. Bye.